Just firstly, Marlon, Fiona, Teresa and Lucia, just to echo what Kemi said, thank you for your courage in fighting for the truth to come out. I know it's taken years and years. I know your lives have been ruined by the appalling abuse that happened. So just thank you for having the fortitude and the bravery to speak out on behalf of hundreds, and I think we think in fact thousands of young girls and boys as well who were abused. So thank you for what you've done by bringing this to public attention in the way you have. One of the things that struck me about this scandal isn't just that it happened in the first place, that the abuse occurred, and it's not just that the authorities were negligent and didn't investigate properly, it's that they deliberately and intentionally covered up these crimes. And I think actually Teresa touched on this when you said the police officers actually told you to stop complaining. They told you to leave it alone. And they said your son would suffer consequences unless you just stayed quiet. And yeah, exactly. And I've heard that so many times. I've heard about parents getting arrested for complaining. A case of a senior police officer in a northern city, a superintendent who ordered a retired officer who was working for a charity at the time to stop investigating because he was worried about so-called community tensions. So they deliberately covered this up. It wasn't an accident, it wasn't just negligence, it was deliberate. So the first thing I think this inquiry must do is make sure the people who are responsible for covering this up, police officers, local council leaders and councillors, social services, even the Crown Prosecution Service in some cases, are held responsible. There's a criminal offence called misconduct in public office. In my view, many of these people that covered this up are guilty of that offence. They need to be prosecuted and frankly sent to prison. And that needs to happen, in my view, alongside the inquiry. It can't wait until afterwards. And of course, at the same time, the many perpetrators, as Fiona said, who have escaped justice, need to be sent to prison and prosecuted as well. So I think that's the first thing, prosecuting those that covered this up for misconduct in public office. I think secondly, we need to make sure this inquiry covers all 50 towns affected, not just some of them, but all of them. We know some towns like Bradford have refused to cooperate with any inquiry at all, even to this day, so all those places must be covered. All of the local inquiries must have statutory powers to compel the production of evidence, so the cover-up can't continue. This must be done in a timely way, so 2 years is as long as it should take. We can't have this dragging on for years and years. The survivors and their families have been suffering for long enough. And then critically, to Marlon's point, this needs to be done in a way that is genuinely independent. Councils like Bradford are still refusing to look at this. We can't trust those councils who have been covering this up actively for so many years to investigate themselves. It has to be independently led. They can't investigate themselves. The inquiry has to look at the role of ethnicity in the cover-up. Casey found that. And then finally, this needs to start soon. We need to see the terms of reference and a chair appointed by the summer recess, which is towards the end of July, about 4 or 5 weeks' time. And we need, as both Fiona and Lucia have said, we need survivors to be at the heart of this. They need to be consulted the whole time about how this inquiry is conducted and kept regularly updated. This has to be really driven by the survivors, not just imposed by central government. And those are the tests we're going to be holding the government to account for to make sure they actually do these things. And I think listening to what I've heard said this morning, I think we're probably all on the same page when it comes to those principles.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Chris.